Good morning, it's Tess, and today is tip 364, and I'm going to talk about boosting the brain power. Kind of an important thing for me right now. I've got a couple jobs going on, and I'm doing some education. So I thought I wanted to think about the things that keep me going in the long days and when I've got a lot going on. And I found an article that talked about quick cures for mental tiredness, and there were a couple of things that I wasn't familiar with that kind of made sense after I read about them. One of them is it talked about dial up your hand washing, and I figured, well, with everything that's going on, that's not a bad thing. But the way they explained it is that when you wash your hands, if you wash up your wrists with really cold water, there's something about the really cold water on your wrists that kind of rejuvenates or gets your brain working again. So I think it's kind of like the equivalent of wash your face with really cold water or take a cold shower. It will wake you up. So I thought that was a great thing. I do see I have people on with me, so thank you for being here. And just tips for keeping the brain going. Hi, Mary Doe. Good morning. Good to see you. I know I've been missing the past couple of days, but it is a really busy time. But I thought this brain power stuff, great tool. So wash those hands. Go up to the elbows if you can with really cold water. And that does make sense because they always tell you take a cold shower, wash your face with cold water, something to kind of perk everything up again and get you moving. And another thing I know is foods. I avoid heavy meals, meaning I don't do heavy volumes of food if I've got a lot of brain power tasks to do. And I don't do a lot of heavy carbs if I have a lot of brain power stuff to do, because that slows me down and makes me sluggish. Another thing, it talks about munching on apple. Just 2 minutes of chewing will get your brain moving again. It says if it's not an apple, maybe gum, but something to chew. I guess the motion of chewing will activate your brain and get you moving again. They talk about really cold water. Drinking cold water will kind of spark you up a little bit. I actually will, during the workday when I need to walk away from something because it's not fresh anymore, I'll just go upstairs, downstairs, and put in about 500 steps. And when I come back to my desk, it's like a fresh start. In the office, they have a small track next to the building. So if you go walk the track and come back, if it's cool or cold outside, that'll brisk it up for you too. This was an interesting one, and one of the girls from the office does this. She keeps mint or peppermint. She keeps an essential oil of peppermint and she puts it across her nose. But she does it for another reason too. I guess spiders don't like it. So if there's a spider in the office, it'll go to somebody else's cube. But it does talk about that a whiff of peppermint or a whiff of mint will kind of bring you back to high energy. So that's something worth trying. So certain smells will help you. I know of someone who was pregnant at one time that would keep essential oils, because if there was a smell that she didn't like, if somebody was eating something, she would just smell that and it would help her. Well, it makes sense. It would help you stay active and to be vibrant and excited and moving forward. So I know there's a lot of different things. For me, food is a big one. And for me, movement, like walking. But I think this ideas of cold water and chewing, those are great ones too, just to keep you moving and to keep you active. Life gets busy, and you want to do things that will keep you moving forward in your journey or forward in life. It also kind of talked about tasks. It talked about like sequential updating tasks, like things that make you, even if you're just thinking of a number order, like if you have a list that you have to, and I guess I recognize I do this sometimes too. When I need to get away from something and come back to it, I'll look for a repetitive task that I just need to do, pump it out, it kind of clears my brain and I move forward. And they talk about sequential tasks and concentration tasks, or things like if you have to match numbers or match pictures, there's something about that getting the brain moving again. So if you hit a sluggish point, if you look into doing that. Reading, I think that depends on what you're reading, because reading can sometimes calm you down to sleep. But that repetitive tasks, I think is good. Apples, something chewing, walking, cold water up your arms, on your face, splashing it, a cold walk outside, or even a walk outside, whether it's cold or not. Hand washing, all these type of things. So maybe that's what I'm going to start doing, is maybe I'll start putting lists together. Like I know one earlier this week or last week, I was talking about things that you can recognize weight loss that aren't the scale. Maybe I'll come up with these things that keep the brain more active, things that you can do to keep yourself on task, even if it's cards and laying them out and matching kings, queens, jacks, some kind of a concentration type game. Because when I think about it, one of my great aunts had dementia, and one of the things that they told her to do was to do word games like lexicon or something where you had to create words out of like Scrabble boards. So any of those type of tasks that make you use the brain will help to kind of rejuvenate you and get you ready for whatever it is that you might be facing. So I hope you guys find this helpful. I just want to make sure I got on today because there is some Chris Noggle training today that I'll attend, and Doc V will be on shortly. But just think about the ways that you can, you know, it did really specifically say in the articles, if you spend 4 hours binge watching a show. Well, good morning, Ying. Good to see you. It did talk about, like, if you spend 4 hours binge watching a show, it's bad for you because, one, your brain kind of goes to putty, but the other thing is that your muscles become too relaxed, and actually they were talking about it could cause deep vein thrombosis. So maybe this idea of getting up and walking, getting up and washing your face with cold water, getting outside and getting some fresh air, chewing something, anything to just keep the different parts of our body moving forward. I know it's easy to fall into sedentary type activities if you're not out and about. And personally, me, I want to remain remote, so I'm going to look for the things to keep me active. And maybe that's what I'll do, since lists are good for the brain. I'll start putting lists together, like one of activities you can do to keep the brain active, and then another one of the things that you can do to identify. And I already started a list for identifying weight loss without it being weight on the scale. And you know, like somebody, and it was great because I put the list up and somebody let me know that their rings got smaller. So there are all kinds of things, and if we share these tips with each other, it just helps us on the journey and keeps us engaged in the journey together. Thank you for being here, and I'll make an effort to make sure I'm in here every day again. But I appreciate you guys so much. Having you here on this journey with me has helped me to stay committed to it. At over 5.5 years out now and 175 pounds down, and I'll show the picture for anyone who's new. This is who I was before surgery. I want to keep in this journey and keep moving forward. So I'm going to keep reminding myself of what I'm doing differently now than what I did before, so that 10 years from now, 15 years from now, I can be our next Kate Aaron, 16 years post, 16 years at maintenance. That is an achievable goal for all of us. Don't ever sell yourself short. We are all, in the words of Zara Mahoon of the Unlimited Law of Attraction group, we are all unlimited. Thank you, and you guys have a beautiful day.